on application, and usually you have a shape like that. So this question says a cone is with a radius r and a height h is shown in the sketch alongside. The sum of the base radius and the height is 30 centimeters. Okay, so the sum of the base radius, that is this radius, and the height is 30 centimeters. So if you add h plus r, you get 30. So what this means is h plus r will give you 30. That's what it is. Okay? So that's L1. Then the question says, determine the volume V of the cone in terms of R. Right? First thing you need to know that the volume of the cone is 1 over 3 pi r squared h. Okay? Sometimes when you're answering the questions or application, the formula may be given. There are sometimes when this formula may not be given. So to go on the safe side, you have to know your formula. Can you stop playing with the phone, please? Right? So here, so V is equal to 1 over 3 pi r squared h. But the question says we need to determine the volume only in terms of what? Of the radius. So we need to eliminate this h. That's why I have to write this equation first. So using this equation, I can make h the subject. So from here, my h will be equal to 30 minus r. H is going to be equal to 30 minus r. Therefore, I can substitute now where there is h here, I can put 30 minus r. So the volume will be V equal to 1 over 3 pi k r squared times h, which is 30 minus r. Okay, I can simplify it. Right? Allow me to simplify it. So it will be V equal to 1/3 times 30, that will give me 10. So that will be 10 pi r squared. Right? And then r squared times r, I'll get minus 1 over 3 pi r cubed. So this will be my volume in terms of r. There is no h anymore. You can't have two variables, so that's why we have to eliminate that h. Okay? Then, so we are done with the first part. Done with the first part. Then the second one, it says, what is the height of the cone when the cone has a maximum volume? Okay, this word here, maximum, that word means find the first derivative. Okay, once you see that word maximum, it means find the first derivative. This is a clue that you need to find the first derivative. So if you know how to find the derivative using rules, at least if for this question here, if you manage to get to that formula, then you should be able to do the second part. If you don't get this formula here on your own, then the second part you won't be able to do it. So you may get a 0 for the whole question. Yes?
So when you find the derivative, you're going to keep pi at x.
Here our variable, our independent variable is r. Pi is a number, remember? Pi is a what? It's a number. So pi is not a variable. Okay, it's a constant. Right, so the next page, what I'll do is I'm going to find the derivative now. So we have v equal to 10 pi r squared minus 1 over 3 pi r cubed. So I'm going to find the derivative. When I find the derivative here, this v is like my y. The r is like x. So I can write this as dv over dr. dv over dr. The v is like y, the r is like x. So exponent times the constant. exponent times the constant. Now our constant here is not 10, it's actually 10 pi, because pi is a constant. So 2 times 10 pi, that will give us 20 pi. Okay, we are not talking about pies that you buy from Pi City. Right? Then 3 times 1 over 3 pi. Right? We know, oh, I need to subtract 1 from that, so that will be 20 pi r. Then 3 times the third, that will give me 1. Okay, so I end up having pi, then I subtract 1 from 3, I'll get pi r squared. Are you following that? Now the next thing is to equate that derivative to 0. So this will be 20 pi r minus pi r squared equal to 0. I want to solve for r, remember. I want to solve for what? For r. So, and I want the maximum value of r. Right? So here, you can factorize. Okay, let me take out the common factor, which will be pi r. So I'll end up having 20 there minus r equal to 0. Okay? I'll factorize here. The other way is to take minus pi r squared to the right, then you divide both sides by pi, if the pi will cancel out, then this r here comes down to 1 plus 2, then you find the r. So I know the r, that my r here is going to be 20. This is a factor, so pi r is going to be 0, or we're going to have 20 minus r equal to 0. Here, what this means is r is going to be 0. Now, the radius cannot be 0. Okay, so we forget about this one here. We'll say r equal to 0, this is not applicable. That one will be 20 equal to r, which means our r is going to be 20. And this will be 20 centimeters. This, listen, okay, in most cases, most letters, they won't write the limits. Now, we are not trying to find r here, remember. We are finding what? H. Don't forget that. We are finding H. Question says, what is the height of the cone when the cone has maximum volume? Okay, so we go back here. See this equation. We substitute there. Or we can just go to this one here. So H is going to be 30 minus R. Usually, when you are doing this question there, you can't get negative answers when you're dealing with dimensions. So that will be 10 centimeters. This is what our final answer. So our height of that cone is going to be 10 centimeters, which means the base is longer than, sorry, the base is longer than its height, because it has got a radius. Remember, the base is circular, so it has got a diameter of 40 centimeters, which is 4 times the height of that cone.